What's up guys, Justin here with the CGEssentials.com. So in today's video, we're going to check out an add-on from the Blender market that makes it easy for you to add like fluids and liquids and other things like that in Blender without having to do any kind of simulations. Let's go ahead and just jump into it. All right, so Fluid Painter is a tool that's been out for a while now, but this is the first chance I've really had to talk about it. So this is basically a tool that comes with a bunch of different fluid presets. So different foods, you've got mud, you've got soaps, other things like that. And you can use this in order to quickly add those to objects inside of Blender. So you can see how it's really easy to use curves in order to add these objects in here or add the fluids in here. So and there's a ton of different types, but it's super easy to use. There's a list of all of the different presets down at the bottom here if you want to check out what those are. Okay, and so this is going to include basically an installer file. And what you want to do is you want to go into the install settings in your preferences under add-ons, and you just want to install that file. When you do that, that's going to do two things. So first off, it's going to install the little menu on the right-hand side. So you can tap the N key and you can see how Fluid Painter is going to show up in here. So that's the first thing. The second thing that it's going to do is it's going to add the Fluid Painter library to your asset library, meaning you can go through and you can find that Fluid Painter library and bring these in that way. So there's really two ways to bring this in, right? You can use the window on the right-hand side. You can tap or click on the drop down right here, and you can set which ones of these you want to bring in, or you can use the asset browser, which is typically the way that I've been doing this. And so basically the way that this works, this is very simple, but the way that this works is you just select an object, you select something, right? So let's say that I wanted to bring in the ketchup right here. So you select one of these fluids, you drag it in, and what that's going to do is that's going to basically put you into curve mode, meaning that you can come in here and you can draw on this object. And one thing that you should definitely think about is you should definitely think about making sure that you are in surface paint mode right here. So when you do that, what that's going to do is that's going to add a curve and it's going to apply that material preset to this. And so the cool thing about this is adjustable, meaning I can come in here and I can adjust things like the curve itself, right? So if I move this around, right, on the surface, you can adjust the way that this curve works. You can also select an object. So I'm in object mode right now, but I'm going to go over into the Fluid Painter menu and I'm going to adjust some things about the fluids, right? So you can adjust the scale. Notice how as you bring this bigger, this starts looking like more of like a big glob of ketchup rather than kind of a drizzle. But you can also adjust things like the thickness. So you can adjust how thick it is. You can add subdivisions to this if you want to, which is going to make this look a little bit smoother if you decide that you want to do that. But you can also adjust the roughness, which you can see how it makes that look exactly what it sounds like. It makes it look rougher. Then you can also adjust the adaptivity, which is going to affect the way that this is on the surface right here. And so note when you look at this that there are two kinds of fluids in here, right? So there's the fluid presets and there's the fluid plus presets. So the fluid plus presets are basically designed to kind of like flatten onto a drawing surface, need an object assigned, but what they do is they're going to more cover a surface as opposed to just like being painted on there. So let's say, for example, that we had this torus right here, and we're going to select the glaze plus option. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this in here like this, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to draw on top of this like this. But notice how if you look in the settings on this one, it's actually trying to find an object rather than a surface right here. Well, what that means is that this is going to give you more options, right? There's a flatness option down below. There's also an offset, which is going to set how this offsets on a surface, but you can adjust this to kind of like cover up a surface in here. And then if you wanted to add some more, you could do that just like this. So notice how as I draw in here, it's going through and it's adding additional it's adding additional detail in here based on where I add curve pieces. And then you could definitely come in here and make some adjustments based on that a little bit later, but those fluid plus objects are going to more try to like cover a surface like this one. And so this library has a bunch of different kinds of presets in here. And so for example, there's like a slime preset, or let's do the glowing slime preset. So I'm gonna bring this in. I'm just gonna color this on top of my Bonnie model right here. As much as I don't want to cover Bonnie with glowing green slime, what this is going to do is this is going to come in here and it's going to basically add this glowing slime in here. I'm gonna bring the thickness up and the scale up. I'm also going to adjust the adaptivity a little bit as well. But notice how there's an option on the bottom here to add drops. And so what drops is going to do is it's going to add droplets at the end of this object, and you can kind of adjust them, right? You can adjust the size, other things like that. So if you want to make it look like the slime is kind of like moved around on here or something like that, you can definitely do that with this tool. And then there's other options in here as well. One of the cool ones is if you wanted to create like a candle or something like that, there's a wax function, which is going to allow you to kind of like draw wax on a surface like this. So if you had a wick up here and then like fire, you could use this in order to generate kind of wax falling off of a candle, right? So if you were to come in here, you could make this bigger. And so if you were to come over here, you could make this bigger. Notice how it kind of like joins together in there like this, but you could use this in order to create a really interesting candle scene or something like that. All right, so there's a ton of fun applications for this tool, whether you want to make things look like muddy or if you do like food art or other things like that. It's just kind of an easy way to add those things in here without having to mess around with physics simulations or material setups or anything like that. But leave a comment below, let me know what you think. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks, guys.